Aloha, Flow Riders, and welcome to The Flow. Welcome to this awesome live taping. We got fun stuff today. I am Doc Rock, along with my awesome co-host.
Hey everyone, it's Katie.
I knew that. I knew you were going to say that. That's my favorite part. I don't know why. It's so funny. You know, it's kind of amazing. Like, we're 113 episodes into The Flow. That's just incredible.
It's wild.
Because, like,
especially because we take breaks too. Yeah.
Yeah, we just see what happens. Oops.
Which, I know this is an experiment, and what happens if you just like try see what happens?
See, people, now you get it. What happens if you just try? You might win. Yeah. All right. So, what are we doing today, Kates? I'm excited.
I'm really excited. I'm super, super excited for this episode. I know I say that every episode, but I am because this episode makes me feel like a little squishy and a little uncomfortable because we're talking about one of those things that makes me a little squishy and uncomfortable, which is not planning. So if you are a planner like me, this is a great episode for us all to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone, because there is something to be said for being a little bit better at just being in the moment, thinking on our toes, and using some of those amazing techniques and tactics that people learn in improv. I was always that person that did theater, but like hated when we did improv day because I'm such a planner and control freak. But it is such an important part of public speaking and of building confidence and of getting better on your toes. So we found today's guest when we were at Kit's event, Craft and Commerce, and Michael is here to hang out with us today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure Michael's going to make me feel safe and special, but also hopefully push us all, including me. So I'll be the voice of the people today.
I'm standing in the hallway. I just got my drink, and Kayla was like, "Doc, you need to meet Michael." And you know me, I got one drink. Hey, Michael, how you doing? So it turns out he's super rad. I can't wait to get started. Really nice cat. His team was amazing. So yeah, let's dive in. Oh yes.
Welcome to the show, Michael.
What's up, y'all? Appreciate you having me.
What's up? Of course. I love that your brief bio, which I did not read, but I just need to because it's incredible. It says that you are the freestyle rapping, game playing, public speaking coach behind UltraSpeaking. And that's pretty badass. I mean, it's a pretty badass bio.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to discover things about yourself. I didn't know I would be a freestyler or a speaking coach or any of this. So it's cool to keep learning about like who we actually are.
Absolutely.
There you go. Absolutely. All right. So, we have to start with the main question because the people are going to have this question. What exactly is UltraSpeaking?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. UltraSpeaking is an online communication school. So if you want to improve your confidence or feel better at work when speaking, that would be the place to go. But I've seen UltraSpeaking used more as a verb, actually. Like some people will say like, oh, you were UltraSpeaking today. And I think what that means is you were trusting yourself to just go for it, meaning to think to speak before you overthink, to not hesitate, to just kind of like freestyle your way through a presentation, or to just go for that product update or whatever the speaking is. So UltraSpeaking at its core is just trusting yourself to express yourself instead of getting caught in that hesitation loop that so many of us find ourselves in.
This is perfect for podcasting and for live streaming and for all of our video creators out there, because many of us are super guilty of, hitting that pause button, recording, re-recording, editing, like really kind of selling yourself short on the potential of just knowing that you know the content and going. So I love that we're reiterating this. And I think public speaking is one of those parts of video creation that people never seem to really remember, and yet it's such an important part. Like knowing, like having that level of confidence, or even like putting yourself through a process like being part of a public speaking school like UltraSpeaking is huge for all of us. That it really is in many cases why some of those incredible creators out there, have these huge audiences, is that they've really spent the time to think through like who they are, how they present themselves to the world, and do the reps basically, and getting those public speaking skills out there.
Yeah.
What's funny is we all have the confidence to public speak when we're kids. It gets taken away. If you don't believe me, spend like 20 seconds with Katie's daughter. She's good. No one's got to her
She's
yet.
a public speaking pro right now.
Like nothing has got to her yet. She'll be superly fine. And then eventually, one teacher or a classmate who's a little picky or something of that nature will take it away from her. And I think it's funny because people always say, well, I don't have the confidence to be a public speaker. Like, you always have it. You just got somebody turned it down or covered it up. Like when a fire is burning on the stove, you put the towel on it. Somebody just put the towel on it. You need somebody else to come in there and take the towel back off and set that sucker back on fire. That's literally what it is, because we all have it. And so it's funny.
Exactly. And like the missing ingredient, or the thing that makes speaking into public speaking, is usually pressure.
Tequila.
Yeah, well.
Oh, pressure. Sorry.
That's the opposite.
Sorry,
Tequila can make public speaking go back into just like regular speaking, but what amps it up is the pressure. And when I say pressure, what people typically associate it with is self-consciousness. So the moment you turn on the camera to record, something in our brain flips, and it's like, oh, whoa, I'm no longer just existing. I'm performing for an audience, and how am I coming across? And all of this consciousness of self kicks in. And so we start to feel pressure, and that could happen on camera. It could happen in a meeting. It could happen at a barbecue with, friends of friends. Like whenever we start to think, how am I being perceived right now? We get caught in this overthinking loop that like 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, they beautifully don't have yet, because they are just so freely self-expressed that they're not constantly questioning, like, what's my impression right now on these adults? They're just existing as themselves. And I think returning to that state as an adult is the big $1 million question of like, how do I feel natural in situations where I feel a lot of pressure?
That's awesome. That's super awesome.
What are the first steps that you can take to try to get into that natural state? So if people are like sitting here and they're like, yes, this is me. I am that person. I feel like a lot of the advice we get is just like, you need to practice at it. You need to like really know the content inside and out. Are there other things outside that are just good starting places?
Yeah, there's really two main schools of thought on this, and I'm a believer in both. School number one is to say, stay in character. And stay in character is the example of that comes from acting, but really it's the idea that we want to put our most confident foot forward in situations where we feel nervous. Because if we don't, then we are acting from a place of insecurity. And so we're re-experiencing that event as an insecure version of ourselves. So we never really build the confidence if we break character, if we apologize every time you make a mistake, or we stumble and go, oh, I'm so sorry, So what it really means is just remove the unconfident behavior. So it's not overconfident. It's not like, let me act confident. It's more like, hey, next time you're appearing nervous, what if you just kept that to yourself and just trusted that you come across as more composed? And this crazy thing actually happens, where if you don't admit your insecurities to others, people may not notice them, and you may come across as more confident than you feel. And you'll start getting feedback like, oh yeah, you did really well in that meeting, or a great presentation. And suddenly something happens in your brain of like, oh, that's weird. I felt nervous, but came across as confident. Maybe I don't have to worry so much about how I'm coming across. And so that concept is called staying in character. And that's really one school of thought. But for those of us that want the shortcut, that are like, hey, I don't want to practice staying in character, the true shortcut is every time we speak in public, whether on camera or on a podcast, there's always two choices that we have. And choice number one is to speak from a place called impress mode, where I'm thinking about, I want to do a good job. I want them to like me. I want to sound smart. We're impression managing. Or we have the choice to speak from express mode, which is kind of how we feel when we're with a close friend, where we're just, whatever we feel in here, we're just trying to articulate as best we can. And we're not thinking about, hey, how is this going to come across? And the paradox that I find is that when we speak from express mode, we end up being more impressive because we show more of ourselves. We're a little bit more messy, a little bit more authentic. And in the age of authenticity, people are really drawn to that.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful. And I think it's funny, like even in the second instance, it is not fully counterintuitive, but like a little bit, because we're constantly thinking, we're constantly telling at least, our audience and our community that you should be thinking about the, building your community and the people on the other side and the value that you're providing them more than yourself. But I do think that it is interesting to also remember that, if you're having a conversation with someone else, like even what we're doing right here, like just spending time with the people that are here as if, and we are, I mean, in many cases, friends, then that makes the conversation automatically better for the people on the other side. That is
one of the best tips I've ever heard in my life on public speaking is to treat your audience like a close friend. And most people,
or speak to one. I like to speak to one of them. But then sort of remove their name. Sometimes I even use their name. But if you can speak to one of them, then each person feels like you're talking to them. So if I act like I'm speaking to Michael, but I don't specifically say Michael, everybody can easily insert their name in wherever you were speaking to. And I oftentimes also like to put in we, sometimes when I want to say I, because that takes out all the pressure on myself, number one, but it also leaves them space to put themselves in my shoes, right? And I wear some pretty sick Adidas, so you might want to step in them. They're always clean. I don't use dirty shoes. So, but it gives you an opportunity to sort of feel where we are. And you said something right then a second ago that kind of linked in to my brain, because you're always taught as a kid, you want to leave a lasting impression, and first impressions do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, we're in that. I want to leave a lasting expression. I want you to know that I expressed myself fully, and it is what it is. You either like it or you don't. I'm not switching. Exactly. Not at this age.
Yeah.
So I really like that idea, because I'm watching my community. We're mostly, people who remember black and white TV. And they're still trying to figure out how to, sort of impress people. And I'm like, you're at an age where you should already be in your dilly gaff era. Do I look like I give a French fry? So why are you still trying to be performative? Like nothing anybody has to say you should affect you at this point, because you're like, pushing the dark side. Like, just let that mess go and just give it, and I really appreciate the way you explained that.
Yeah, it makes me think of fashion a little bit. And, some people might say like, well, if I don't care what people think, then it's the equivalent of like, oh, I'm just going to wear like a tank top everywhere, and I'm just going to wear like ripped jeans, and I'm not going to care about how I look at all. And I don't think that's exactly the case. I think what's beautiful about fashion is it's another chance to feel like yourself in clothes. You wear what feels like you. And some people are like really, really expressive with their clothes. They're like super out there. Other people are just kind of want to blend in because it's not as important to them. So I think our speaking is the same way. If we don't really want to judge others by how they speak, because we don't really know what their mindset is behind it. What really matters, to me at least, is, am I feeling like myself in situations? And when I feel like myself, that's when the pressure disappears, because I know how to be myself. What I don't know is how to be impressive to Doc and to Katie. Like, I don't know what that version needs to be, but I do know how to sort of relax into my way of being and trust that that's going to be enough for a conversation like this.
Sure is.
That's true. You never do know what anybody would be impressed by. They will tell you once you hit it, but like trying to do it ahead of time is literally like, shooting in the dark. You have no idea what they would be impressed by. And again, I'm often thrown back when someone says, "Oh my God, I'm so impressed that you know so and so." So like, really, that's just normal to me, right? But like, they wouldn't know that, and it's something that they're surprised to hear. You know what I mean? Like, like, wait, you're a DJ? I'm like, yeah, for like many, many years. Like, oh my God, like I always wanted to do
Right.
that. So I bought all the
Yeah.
equipment. I was like, cool, we should go on Zoom and just jam someday.
Yeah.
Like things like that. That blows people's mind. When we were at KIT, and someone's like, oh yeah, Michael can bust out a cipher. And I was like, what? All right, cool. Now I'm impressed. You know what I mean? Like you would have known to like, oh, you would never know I was a DJ. You would never know that I was a former hip hop musician. And so no one had to tell me that. But when I hear that, I'm like, oh, we're friends automatically. Done. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're trying to impress somebody without knowing what the button is make no sense.
Yeah.
Math don't math.
Yeah, exactly. I just think about all the people these days that we like because they're so uniquely in their own element. I think that is the way to stand out these days. And what's interesting about human beings, I think we can start to tell, we're getting better and better at telling like what's not real. What is, somebody that's trying to be effortless, trying to be cool, like you could sense the trying. And so in this day and age, I'm really drawn to people who seem to just know themselves very well and speak from a place of knowing.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
Speak from a place of knowing. I love that because I want to talk a little bit about structuring and like scripting and memorization and some of these things that people are constantly worried about or overthinking or, trying to figure out the best way to plan and prep for their episodes or for the presentations that they're doing or for the videos that they're creating. So if not those things, because I think that we can get lost in the weeds in that, how do you recommend best planning for and preparing for content or presentations or things that you're creating without overdoing it so that you can still be natural and be confident and approach public speaking in a healthy, positive way?
Yeah. Well, my co-founder, Tristan, he competed in the World Championships of Public Speaking, and he got to the final round. So he and I really studied how to create like a world championship quality speech. And what's interesting about that process is that it's a lot of writing, it's a lot of scripting, a ton of memorizing. And then, he got to the point where he could even know every breath that he would take, every pause that he would take. The most fascinating part of that whole experience was that when he finished the World Championships and he was asked to give a toast at like a dinner party, he felt super unequipped, like very unprepared, despite being a top 10 finalist in the world. And it's because we realized like writing a great speech takes a lot of effort, but it doesn't translate to being able to speak in other scenarios. And so what we started studying is like, what's a method that can make me feel like I could prepare for recording a video, and then the next day I could give it a leadership update, and then the next day I could do just like an Instagram live, and the next day I can go on a podcast, and it wouldn't be this stressful month-long process of preparing. And that's how we discovered something called the Accordion method. And we found it to be the most simple way to prepare for speaking engagements, podcasts, videos. It's really simple. The premise is that rather than writing out what you want to say and then trying to remember it, we practice by speaking what we want to say and using time constraints to internalize it in our body, to like make our body remember instead of our brain remember. So it's really simple. It's an accordion method, meaning if you're going to record a 5-minute video, then all I would ask people to do is, okay, round 1, just hit record and do your 5-minute video. Just do a take, but do the whole 5 minutes and don't let yourself stop early. And if you make a mistake, keep going. That's the only requirement, is keep going. Once you're done with the 5 minutes, take 2 is cut the time in half. We'll do the 2.5-minute version. Now you have to figure out like, okay, I can't fit everything in. What am I going to cut out? Once you do the 2.5-minute take, cut that time in half. And now we'll do the 1-minute take and then the 30-second take. And then when we only have 15 seconds to do a take, what we discover is that we can only say one thing. And that one thing becomes your main idea. It becomes your North Star.
Oh, I love it.
And so through the process of doing these takes, you discover, actually, my video is really about this one key idea. And now that we have it, we just reverse the process. Now that you know where you're going, it's much easier to add in the right details. So we expand back up the accordion, the 30-second version, then the 1 minute, then the 2 minute. And then by the time you get to the 5-minute version, not only are you able to express yourself with clarity because you know exactly where you're going, but you've done it so many times in so many different ways that your body just kind of knows what you want to say. And you might not get all the right words because there are no right words. Instead, what you've trained for is versatility. You're able to express the same idea in different words, and it feels fresh and it feels natural, and yet internally you feel hyper prepared because you've done all these takes in between.
Oh, I love that. I love it even more because so Caleb on our team, who we talked about earlier, created this quiz for all of us and for our customers that basically like Hogwarts style sorts you into whether you are more of a planner, you're more of a presenter, or you're more of a producer when you're approaching video creation and content creation. And I would have like defined myself 100% as a planner. I'm like the person that I come from a writing background. I've always like needed a solid plan. I have like planners galore everywhere, calendars everywhere. I'm an overthinker. So that would have been what I thought. But I've been on this like journey of trying to like not overthink it and not like, you know, Doc's words are in my head all the time of trying to not be a perfectionist about stuff. And so now I've been doing something similar to what you just said, where now I will just record, see how it is, and then, you know, evaluate if I really do need to make those changes. And, you know, and I will just soak up all of the information so that when I'm ready to record, I just know the topic well enough. I don't have any notes. I don't have any bullet points. And I do feel like it has actually like shifted my mindset so that when I took the quiz the first time and then when I took it the second time, I actually shifted from being a planner into being a presenter. So that like my mindset is now like, you know, the stuff, just get it out there and then, you know, and then figure out what you're going to do from that point on. So I will absolutely take that to heart. And I can say, if you're listening or watching, like I'm only doing like a fraction of this full accordion method, but it has really made a big difference in just actually getting content created, building confidence. And like you said, I think it really is like actually affecting my confidence, and like it is become almost a muscle memory. Like there now are things where I'm like, oh, I don't, you know, for the just for fun podcast I do, like I don't need to worry about like an outline or a script because I just know the content and I feel in my own skin on it.
That's
so
awesome.
I know that the content's going to come out well. But that is awesome. It makes a ton of sense because I think you're right. Like if you do spend all of the time to memorize it and kind of nail that exact script, you can absolutely do it. It probably sounds and is an incredible experience. But you're right. Like it would be really hard to translate that into other projects that are, you know, that are applicable in your day to day.
Yeah, I think it requires the desire to want to be good at speaking on the fly. That's been the number one focus for the last decade of my life, is I just wanted to be good at speaking on the fly because I was so bad at it. And I didn't realize that it was even a skill. I thought you were just kind of like either you're a born speaker or you're not. But what I've learned in my research is that like actually the ability to speak on the fly, the ability to freestyle, whether through music or through an instrument or through speaking, it's just a set of techniques and anybody can become really good at it. And I'll give you one quick technique, which is that if you're ever thinking on the fly, if you're ever speaking and finding yourself rambling or blanking or your mind freezes and you're kind of stuck, you can always use what's called a summary prompt, which is just a little phrase to get you back onto the main road. A summary prompt phrase could be, basically what I'm trying to say is, and then your brain just kind of fills in that sentence and gets you back to the main point. Another example could be like,
oh, I love that.
The point here I'm making is, or the main idea I'm trying to get across, or even bottom line, what I'm saying is. And it's like these little tools that the pros have in their back pocket whenever they find themselves freestyling and it's kind of going off track. They'll go, basically what I'm saying is a summary prompt is really helpful. And they just get back on track. And for those of us that haven't studied it, we just don't know these little techniques. And so we think, I can't express myself on the fly. I need to script things out because if I don't, it'll be all messy. But my point is that if you have this desire of like, it'd be awesome to be great at speaking on the fly, then it's 100% achievable. And it's just a set of techniques that anybody can do and ultimately become really great at this skill.
Here's one that I think messes people up. I will people in the chat, you know who you are. I'm calling you out.
It's
I
me,
want to
isn't it?
get
It's always
great.
me.
I want to get great at speaking on the fly. All right, dope. When was the last time you spoke up?
Right.
So you got people that want to get great at speaking on the fly. They want to get great at delivering these awesome, eloquent videos. They want their videos to sound like it was written by Amy Sherman Palladino or, Brian Sinclair or, Aaron Sorkin, Lord and Savior, Aaron Sorkin, Joss Whedon. But you ain't made no videos, dog. You know what you're not going to get good at? Speaking on the fly. Because the only way to get good at it is to do it. So I didn't go to public speaker training, which is probably one of the reasons why I don't get nervous on stage. Nobody ever told me to be nervous on stage, right? I learned how to cipher on the block, right? So when it was like, so-and-so said, it started in the 80s, long even before hip-hop got to the way it is now. It started on the 80s where we're standing in the corner and we just would sit around and have your mama jokes. And, MTV turned it into a show. But like you were standing in the corner and you would literally just crack jokes, your mama this, and this. Farside turned it into a song. And then we went, ooh, wait, we can make all of our jokes into a song? And then you just, started looking for things to riff on. So you just sort of learned to riff. And probably what got me into practicing more than anything else was I would watch these, rom-coms in the 80s. And the dude that was always, getting the girls was the dude who just had that flow about him. Like they had the ability to just wax rhapsodically, pull Shakespeare out of the sky or whatever. I'm like, done. That's me. I'm in. So I learned it from that more or less than anything, right? Watching John Cusack and his, floor sweeper and 16 candles, just being able to just spit game. Like I was like, all right, cool, I'm in. That's what I want to do. And I think, you just have to find something to see yourself in. And, whether it's debate club or something of that nature, I think too many people just say, I'm not good at public speaking. I'm like, well, you don't speak up. So how can you get good?
Yeah. And they get nervous and that's why they don't do it. And it doesn't feel good. So why would they do it? So it's a very relatable situation to be in. But what I find really inspiring and really the driving force behind my belief is that everybody is good at speaking in some context. Everybody thrives in some conversations, like with a close friend or a family member or a loved one. So we all have the ability to be really funny and charismatic and interesting and to think on our feet and to be thoughtful. All of us have it. So the question is like, how do I translate that part of you that I know exists into more situations, maybe those situations that feel less comfortable or a little bit more scary. But the good news here is that like all of us are great speakers by default. The thing that gets in the way is the nervousness, is the self-consciousness. And if we can learn how to relax into those scenarios, then it's not that we become great speakers, it's that we unlock something that already exists within us.
Yeah. I'll be remiss if I don't bring this up because I told this to my people the other day. That feeling that you get in your gut when you're nervous is also the feeling you get in your gut when you're excited, is also the feeling you get in your gut when you're in love. It's because it's your body trying to digest what you have to give your brain energy and your legs energy to either run or to stand there and deal with it, right? So that feeling you get, you decide whether it's stand there and deal with it or whether it's run, right? It's up to you. When it was a small little something, you stood there and dealt with it. When it was a lion or a woolly mammoth or a saber tooth, you ran.
Yeah.
Well, just learn to stand there and deal with it. It's the same energy. It's what you label it that specifies whether it's fear or excitement. I was a parachutist. That's exciting. There's other people that would stand in the door and be like, oh my God, I'm scared. You know? And then so they said, well, were you a little scared? I don't know. I was excited. And if fear and excitement hit you at the same time, that becomes thrill.
Yeah.
Right? And that thrill could be anything from driving fast to, skateboarding to, adult topics we can't speak about. They're all the same.
Yeah.
That's your body burning the energy it needs right then in order to get something done. So you just got to stop ascribing stuff that doesn't help you to it. You know what I mean? I could be in here right now and say, this room is dark. It's your brain. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
I think that's why I'm so passionate about the topic, is because public speaking in itself is not that interesting to me. It might be worthwhile. What's more worthwhile is the relationship with yourself and how it evolves when you face something like public speaking, because you're really facing yourself, your fears, your insecurities, and the journey to improve. Like, your speaking will get better, but the reason it gets better is because your confidence grows. Your relationship to that feeling that you're describing, Doc, in your body of like discomfort, you start to learn how to manage it, how to use it for your advantage.
Live with it.
And so I love the topic, not because I'm interested in public speaking, but because the person that you become when you go on this journey is incredibly different. It's like you're becoming a greater version of yourself just by exploring a topic that can be quite scary.
Yeah,
That's
arms are
awesome.
heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. He's describing that nervous situation. All right, we should play some games. I'm down. I'm ready. I'm excited.
We should play. I do want to just before we jump into games. I do want to. I think you answered these. I'm sorry, Doc. I'm avoiding. No, I'm not avoiding. Steven's got us a couple of great questions here that I think, Michael, you mostly answer, but I just want to make sure we call them
I'll
out.
do them rapid fire
Steven wanted to know. Yeah, rapid fire, quick. What motivated you to shift away from traditional public speaking instruction?
Because I thought, when I learned myself because I had massive anxiety, and I was in a project management position at work, and I would freeze in meetings and get stuck in my head and stumble over my words. I even drafted my letter of resignation because it was at a point where I'm like, I'm just not cut out for this thing. So I was really motivated to learn. And when I learned, I think what I saw was that like the people who are really good at this, they're not doing anything different than the people that are not very good at this. In fact, the only thing that they seem to be doing is something internal. It's like they are seeing the world in a different way. And so I started talking to a lot of these people, like the pros or the naturals, and I'd start interviewing them. And I think the thing that I learned is that like they are able to access this state of flow, this state of energetic expression. And in fact, I remember one person telling me that like they don't even think about the words. They just connect with a state of energy or a state of emotion, and they just flow with it, and the words just follow along. And so I think I just got really curious in seeing like, wow, this isn't about where to put my hands and how to make eye contact and where to stand on stage. Like none of that is what the pros are actually doing. What the pros are actually doing is they're learning how to connect with something internal. And so I got really curious about like, okay, if the secret to speaking is in state of energy, like I want to discover what that is. And that's kind of what led me on this crazy ride.
Yep. The idea of like steepling your hands or standing. What happens if the person's in a wheelchair and don't have no hands? What, they can't public speak? Like I always thought that stuff was stupid. I've never done that stuff. And I'm from New York. The hands are flying, dog. Deal with it. Like, I always hated that stuff. I think, unfortunately, a lot of those old trainings and stuff were just built on trying to make you model them and not like finding your best you. So if it was up to me, I would just say there's no such thing as traditional speaking. It's just people selling you what they know, and not all going to fit you. Right, I can't take you to the big and tall shop, Michael. You come out swimming in fabric, like it's not going to work. You know, it doesn't make sense. Whereas my clothes would sort of fit. So there's that.
Love how you said that. Yeah.
All right, Doc. Now we can get to games. All right, so I prepped a game, and good news for all of you, whether you're joining us live right now in the live recording or you're watching or listening later, you can play along with us. So what we're gonna do is a 1 minute no prep game. So we have 6 different prompts that the 3 of us are gonna do. Maybe we'll rotate back and forth who does it. And we're just going to talk about that topic for 60 seconds without worrying about what we say or how we say it or overthinking or asking for a cut or a timeout. We're just going to go through and do it. You can play along by using hashtag 1 minute no prep and tag the Ecamm accounts. We'd love to see your videos. So be confident with us. Choose whatever topic you want. Write it out, say it, and record those videos and send them through to us. We're going to send some prizes to some of our favorites. So be sure to play along with us. Again, that is hashtag 1 minute no prep. And you can tag Ecamm so that we make sure that we find it, whatever platform works best for you to share it with us. But I thought that would be fun. All right, Luis, are you ready? For our first one, Luis is ready. All right. This is kind of cheating because I know what they are, but there we are. We can, all right. So Michael, do you want to go first? 60 seconds on the clock. Explain why cereal is soup.
Most people think cereal is not soup because soup is warm and cereal is cold milk. I think what makes soup is the warmth. So you're right. But warmth to me is like a heartiness. It's the warmth that you'd feel with family having dinner or with friends having sandwich. I remember having like orange slices at a soccer game and just feeling like really connected to my team members. I was in like 2nd grade though. So cereal is to me a really bonding experience. Even if you're eating it by yourself, there's nothing like it being 11 p.m. and everyone's in bed and I go out of bed because I'm hungry and I'm scrolling my phone and I'm having my bowl of Wheaties with some bananas. Like it's a real hearty experience. And I think the warmth of that is really the metaphorical soup that probably all food has for ourselves.
Relatable. I'm a nighttime cereal eater.
It's the guilty pleasure.
Well done. All right, Doc, are you ready?
I just want to say, gazpacho and vichyssoise are not hot.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Good thinking.
There you go. All right, Doc's up next, and this one is specifically for Doc because I know that he will rock this one. But all right, he will Doc rock this one. All right, ready? Convince me pineapple does not belong on pizza.
Oh my goodness. Pineapple does not belong on pizza. It's like people who don't dance in the pizza. It's simple as pie. If you look straight in the eye, you do not put fruit on something that grows your thighs. It's all about tomatoes, slices, meats, and veg, and never about pineapples that you see in your head. And the number one thing that gets my brain firing is assume that pineapple makes it Hawaiian. Never ascribe a fruit to an ethnicity or even worse, a straight nationality. What most people don't know, and I came to see them, and that Hawaii is a place, but it's also a kingdom. So never put such things on top of a pizza, whether New York or Connecticut, a pizza. It's most important that you never get this thought lost. Never should pineapple see tomato sauce. And that is my diatribe on pizza, and never call it a Hawaiian pizza.
Come on.
Whoa.
Magician, Doc. That was outstanding.
Oh my gosh. That was absolutely
Hate to try to
amazing.
set me up. She got me. That gets me fired up, bro. I hate it. Don't just put pineapple on something and call it Hawaiian. That's dirty. That's just nasty.
Wow. Incredible.
I don't want to do this next
You
one.
got this, Katie.
I feel nervous. How do I overcome
got this. Stay in it.
nerves?
Express
Tequila.
express
I
mode.
told you.
All right,
already.
Luis. I was going to ask you to switch it and force Michael to do it. All right, pitch a product that solves a problem no one has. What's a problem that no one has? Oh man, these things are hard. See, this is what these episodes make me nervous.
No one has lacks of confidence. I tell you that. Everyone has it. They just hide it.
Oh yeah. All right. So, I mean, allow me to create a product for you that gives you immediate confidence. It's a shot that you take right in the heel of your foot, and it will make you feel significantly better. And you might be afraid of the idea of getting a shot to your foot, but it is a painless shot because that is how awesome this product is. So within 16 seconds or less, you will feel super confident and you will be able to pitch a product to someone else about problems that no one has. That is how incredible this product is.
If you can do that, I'm pretty sure you're going to get millions of dollars flowing your way.
Maybe it is so maybe it is a problem that everyone has.
Yeah.
Huh, that's hard. Doc, man, I'm like doubly impressed at your ability to rap. I'm on camera all the time, but that is difficult. All right, well, this is super unfair. I'm going to make Michael do this one because Doc would do this one super well. The next one for you, Michael, is describe your podcast like it's a blockbuster movie trailer. This is ironic because I have a 90s movie podcast, but go ahead.
This is so good.
This summer, two men tackle the biggest, baddest problem in America. And no, it's not burgers. Public speaking anxiety is ravaging the nation. Coronavirus 2020, forget about it. We're not locked down, we are locked in. This summer, one man has to go up on stage in front of an audience, and all of them are naked. Or are they? Whether it's a dream or reality, the cure exists within yourself. Join us. Join us on this adventure thriller, romance comedy, as you discover that the secret to public speaking cures hides within.
Oh my God, that was legendary.
That is so good.
That was legendary.
Take me back to awesome movie trailers. That is amazing. It needs to be an action romance comedy. That's phenomenal. All right. Well, don't get a big head on this one, Doc. But this one is over for you.
Right.
You've just been elected mayor of the internet. Ooh. What is your first order? You're not really mayor of the internet, though.
Oh, dang it. If I could be mayor of the internet, I would immediately require that you have a internet driver's license. And along with said internet driver's license, there would be a test, not just for IQ for the sake of seeing how smart you are, but IQ for your ability to actually take the information that you gather and do something with it. And you would get strikes on your license for doing things like, hate comments or mean comments or just adding things to the conversation that don't add anything to the conversation. Like that would get you points on your license. You definitely would get DWIs for surfing while intoxicated. I probably would be guilty of one of those and would need a cover up. But if I was mayor of the internet, I would probably eliminate stupid people because that's just one of my pet peeves. And I don't mean stupid as in lack of intelligence. I mean the lazy to not care to get intelligent. And that would be it. But you knew that already, Katie.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Get the bad drivers out.
All right. Last one. And this is hilariously ironic. All right. I'm going to tell you about a time where I totally blanked on camera and what I learned. Did not plan these out in advance. A few moments ago, I totally blanked on camera because I was overthinking about the fact that I couldn't think through what a problem was that no one had. And that got in the way of me just saying and talking and experiencing and getting a little bit better on camera. And it's hilarious because I planned all of this in advance because, as I said, I am a planner, or at least I'm a recovering planner. And so it is absolutely hilarious that the follow-up prompt that fell to me, which I tried really hard not to review in advance so I would be authentically playing these games with both of you, was about the time that I totally blanked on camera. And I think the most important part about all of this, honestly, is to just keep trying, even though you fail, even if you fail publicly, even if you're failing and not actually feeling because it's all in your head, the more you push yourself and the more you remind yourself that it's a journey about getting to know yourself better and being better at this, the better you're going to do. So this was a good one.
You just gave me a killer idea for when I'm on stage. And okay, say we're doing the panel and Michael asked me a question that I need time to think. I would say, okay, audience, I need your help here. I need time to think, so I need you to clap to 10 real fast.
And
in that time, I would have came up with my thought, but also you got the audience doing something rather than sitting there going. Right? So pick a number, pull the number, and I would, you know me, I'm strange. I'm not going to say 10. I'm going to be like 12. And just everybody clap. And then, you know, while they're doing that, it gives you a second of thought. Now you're not sitting there with the dead air. Right?
Yeah.
Or like tell them to turn around and shake hands real quick. You know, make them do something so that they're not in that. Because, you know, when we're sitting in the thing of kit, right? And everybody's speaking on stage, everybody's just sitting there like this and there's no activity. Right. And so, you know, that's why I like to stand on stage and ask people to raise their hand or do something in the beginning to get their body moving so that I know that they're engaged and not just sitting there with a pen and paper. And I always get mad. I try to talk so fast that there's no way you can write it down. I really hate the fact that people sit there and try to write everything down. I'm like, you're not paying attention if you're writing it down. Your brain cannot do both no matter what school told you. Right? So like, I'd rather you listen and absorb this heat than try to write it all down. And I think that's where, you know, providing a handout or a worksheet or something is really helpful. But I think one other thing that everybody does, hand the sheet out in the beginning. Wrong. Hand the sheet out at the end. But like, I'm going to give you a sheet at the end with everything I said. I'm going to give you all the slides and the QR code at the end. Because even me, who knows better, when they go to speak and they say, here's my slides, you can download them. You're doing this and they're on slide 3 and you're still over there looking at what they put. You're jumping ahead. Because we were like that in school. We were trying to jump ahead. You know, you got the test book and like, nobody opened a test book. And you're like, right. And they're like, Mr. Boyd, I said nobody opened a test book, you know? So we all are like that, especially those of us who were probably like, you know, AB students. We were normally jumping ahead. So like, put that stuff at the end. Like, tell them you're going to give it to them. Tell them you'll give them a handout at the end, but tell them you want them to pay attention. Put the pens down. I think that will also help you because then you can see engagements instead of top of heads. And when you're talking and you're looking at the top of heads, it does definitely throw you a brick, you know? So those things might help you as well.
Awesome. And Michael, you were saying that earlier before we jumped on that there were a number of games too that UltraSpeaking has. What are some that the crew should check out or consider playing?
Do I have the ability to share screen or no?
Yeah, Louise, can Michael share a screen?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. So I'll just I'll quickly share this.
I like what Tommy said. Ask the audience at the count of 3 to shout out topics, and then do the one that you have planned to do anyway. But you let them think that they actually shouted it out in the melee. Oh my God, Tommy! I'm screen capturing and stealing that. That is so good.
So I'll show you just a couple of games. Can y'all
just give 1 second for Louise to pop it on because we can see it, but they can't see it. And are these all, are they publicly available on the UltraSpeaking site or no?
Yeah, if you create an account on ultraspeaking.com, you'll have access to most of these games for free. And you can train your brain to think on the fly. So let me know when we got them pulled up.
Awesome.
You should actually learn how to spell speaking,
let me just
Doc.
Scroll through to make sure we're not missing any other questions. Lots of compliments on how awesome this is, Michael. Sweet. So really appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Cool. There we are. We are good to go.
Right, fantastic. So this is the UltraSpeaking games, and I'll just show you a couple. I think, Doc, you're going to get a kick out of these especially. So for example, like I really like the game Triple Step. Triple Steps are really... So what's going to happen, Doc, if you want to play along, it's the same exercise of you'll get a topic, and it's like a speech title, and your job is to just speak on that topic for a minute. So you'll have a minute timer here. But as you're speaking, you're going to have like random words or phrases appear in one of these checkboxes. And your job is to just integrate this on the fly as if it were the plan all along in time to fit all 6 into your speech.
Oh,
Cool.
this is cool. Sort of like Pecha Kucha. I love it.
The cool thing about this too, like just for all of you who maybe are feeling a little bit more nervous about this, or you're like, oh, I want to be in, but I'm having that like gut reaction. The cool thing is like, again, you can use a tool like Ecamm and record these just for you. Like you can start by just doing it yourself to get more comfortable with it. You don't have to live stream this or make this public just to get in the habit of doing it. So just a reminder there.
Cool. As a medical professional, if you don't have that gut reaction, you definitely need to see a doctor because your adrenocortical system is broken.
Doc, you want to give this a go?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm always down. All right. Oh, you got me good. He knows me. He knows me. All right, let's talk about irrational fear. Like, there's nothing to fear but fear itself, but actually you should learn to harness fear and use it as an ability. So for instance, if you're job hunting and you're thinking that, well, you're never going to get this job, it's not that you're scared not to get the job, it's you're scared you're going to get it. But of course, when the job app comes through and you get it, you immediately want to do cartwheels. Sometimes physically, sometimes it's just cartwheels in your head trying to see what you're going to do. So now that you've landed this position, it's like when I go in, I need to go in and set my territory and make my ground, but I also need to sit back and spy. But never forget that the most important thing is bring all your stuff so you can do your I-9, because with your I-9, you can set yourself up to make sure that your taxes are in order and not have you out here looking like a scarecrow standing on the end of a fence, you know, with just straw and stuff coming out of your hair. I kind of wish I had hair. And most of all, get into your new job, but do not be afraid to run with scissors, because only then can you show them that you have no fear and you're not irrational.
Yeah.
So simple as pie.
Woo, give it up for Doc.
Woo!
Bravo.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Very
it.
well done.
So fun.
So
Yo.
the way you're playing is really
How do we make this a drinking game? That's all I want to know.
I know.
tequila. So
This is so good.
I'll show you one more game that I think
Ooh, snow
that I
globe.
think is really helpful to anybody that is struggles with being monotonous or has gotten feedback that
okay.
like, hey, when you speak, like it's a little bit like, I wish you had a little bit more conviction or a little bit more dynamism in your speaking.
Gotcha.
So
Mhm.
which one of you would like to play? Maybe Katie, you could give us a go just to show what it's like.
All right, I'll
So
try.
Let me
I'll
explain how
try.
this works real quick.
Yep.
This is called the conductor. And what's beautiful about this game is once you start playing, the conductor is in complete control of your energy. So you don't have to focus on your energy anymore. And we got a funny title here. So your
The
5,
mystery of energy.
your 5 is going to be your baseline speaking voice. It's how you speak to us and how you've been speaking the whole time.
Okay.
But the numbers are going to
Okay.
jump from 1 to 10, or you'll have a breathe screen.
Okay.
Breathe screen, you just take a giant pause. A 10 should be wild and out of this world, and everything in this game is about learning to match the numbers in the moment that you see them.
Okay.
All right, you got this. Yep.
Wait, there's a clean and there's a dirty op? Don't put that on, but there's
That-
is there like a
Yeah,
sweary
we built it
option
for Doc because I
dogs?
know he loves
I love it.
that.
Okay, sorry. I was immediately distracted. Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
Keep it on
All
clean
right,
for me.
here you
but,
go. You got this.
I want to see the Katie Sweary option.
All right. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about illusions, which are just one of the coolest things out there because it involves magic and you can do all kinds of incredible things. And it's just really so incredibly exciting when someone walks up on stage and things disappear. And then, sometimes it just really gets you very concerned and confused about how they could put these kinds of things together because what are they doing behind the scenes that makes it that interesting as they're coming up with all of these different illusions and how are they even thinking through some of this stuff? Because, how are they putting these kinds of things together? And what are they doing that makes it so just magical that it's blowing people's minds and coming up with all of these different ideas? There must be a lot of training that goes into illusion creation in order to make it really interesting for people. And I think that it really is an art form that not everyone is able to do, but one of the coolest things that I've ever seen.
Yo, bravo. Well done.
Thanks.
That's super
Yeah.
It's hard to know the difference between like an 8 and a 7 and a...
Yeah.
It's interesting.
You
That's a
start
fun
to
one.
get
cool. Mine are just 10, 10, 10, 10, 10,
I know.
10, 1.
I could do 10 and 1. I don't know. And maybe
But
5.
actually,
at the in-between.
if people want like the quickest shortcut to having more, we call it musicality, to having more dynamism in speaking. It's just to oscillate. It's just a contrast between a high energy and a low energy. So that we can just appear a little bit more dynamic to people.
George says that he's Greek, so his volume is usually at 10. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
I feel that. Yeah.
Hey, that's Luis. Luis goes from 2 to 25.
Yeah.
It's called Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So there's lots of games on here. Each one is designed to train a particular sub-skill, a particular habit in speaking. For example, in rapid fire analogies, we're trying to learn how to speak without overthinking. So we say things like, breathing is like staying up late because your brain is activated. Startups are like scuba diving because you got to dive deep to succeed. An engine is like monsters because it's scary how complicated it is. Leaving home is like shame because it hurts so much emotionally. And so you end up playing these games and you try to learn to trust the flow, trust your brain's autocomplete function, and build the habit of not overthinking. And that's the premise of UltraSpeaking, is that if you enjoy playing games, you can actually, as a side effect, improve the way that you feel and speak in front of people.
All right, I'm going to dive deep on these this week, friends. So if you want to hang out and do the same, definitely tag us in all of the cool, if you're willing to share your videos, tag us in the videos. They can be any of these games or the one that we mentioned earlier. But let's all practice at this.
And I have to tell you guys,
amazing at it.
At KIT, Caleb went to their workshop at KIT, and Caleb came back singing praises.
Fired up.
So if you are interested in this at all, go to ultraspeaking.com and check out the cohorts. They have one coming up very soon. It does coincide with camp, but you know what? We won't be mad at you if you like, I have to go do my UltraSpeaking homework in the middle of the camp because it might help you out at camp. But yeah, Caleb, I mean, you can talk to Caleb. They were like, yo, this was the coolest thing. You've got to go see them. Caleb was like dragging me around the little place where we were drinking. It's like a big auditorium type thing. It's like, you got to see Michael. You got to say, okay, let's go. And then of course they wait till I got 2 drinks in my hand. But it's really cool. And as you can see, it's a lot of fun. And I think the biggest thing to take away from today is your fear is irrational. Just get over it. Do your thing. Go have fun.
Keep that.
This is something that people should practice with their kids. Honestly, you should do UltraSpeaking with a family. It is one of the most important things you could probably do to your kids, because all of us were fine, again, until some particular teacher or classmate or bully took it away from us. And then now we struggle with it for the rest of our life. So if you can teach your kids this now and teach them to speak up for themselves, they will never be in a position where their lack of self-esteem gets them in trouble. Normally, when you get in trouble as a kid, whether it's doing something you're not supposed to be doing or having Kevin convince you that these car stereos need a different home, that's your self-esteem. Because a stigma kid would be like, nah, dude, I ain't going to jail because of you. And then they walk away. You see what I mean? Yeah. So like all of the above, trust me, I would say this is one that you guys should do. And I'm just prescribing it because I'm a doctor and I play one on TV.
I love it. Absolutely. I'm a doctor.
Super awesome. Oh my God. This is my favorite episode, 113 deep.
Appreciate it.
Sorry.
113. Yeah. Thank you so much, Michael. This has been absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
So I think we've shared your link and resources, but is there anything else that people should check out? How can they connect with you or learn more or find you? Where are the places and spaces?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Michael Gendler. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the founder of UltraSpeaking. Search UltraSpeaking anywhere on Google. You'll find podcast episodes, YouTube videos. We have a giant YouTube channel on like every speaking question you have is probably answered on there. And then there's lots of free ways to get started. You could play the games. You could join a free beginner live class. As Doc would attest to, like, you can't get better at speaking without speaking. So if this is important to you, then the fastest way to improve is going to be with other people. And whether that's in a free live class or in a 30-day cohort, the most important thing is that and it doesn't even have to be through UltraSpeaking. There's Toastmasters out there. There's Dale Carnegie. There's lots of ways to improve. what's most important to me is that people recognize this is a learnable skill. Like, we may not all be able to freestyle about pizza toppings the way Doc can, but all of us can enjoy speaking in front of people on camera. It's a very learnable skill. So my message to the world is that it's a skill worth pursuing.
Michael,
Absolutely.
I saw something yesterday that you would absolutely get a kick out of. There was a girl on Instagram on a reel, and it's a skit, but she has her hands up and she's scared, and it says the robber just told her to rap Onyx Slam perfectly and he wouldn't rob her. And then she just did it. And so she's getting into the good parts and she still has her hands up, and I'm cracking up laughing because as she's doing the lyrics, I can't help but do it with her.
Oh, nice.
And everybody in the group tells you I have the worst musical Tourette's. So when I saw that, I was like, that is the most hilarious thing I've seen on the internet in like weeks. And of course, now that song is stuck in your head.
Yeah,
so there you go.
I love it. And do you know Harry Mack? Doc, have you heard of Harry Mack?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so like for the viewers out there, type Harry Mack, Google his freestyles. I mean, that guy is probably the best in the world. And it just shows that we as humans are built for this thing. Like, we have a thing in our brain that allows us to freestyle in speaking and writing and in music. So it's incredible to see.
That's super good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thanks all the Flow Riders for hanging out with us. Keep all those awesome questions coming. One last reminder, which we mentioned last week as well, but if you go ecamm.tv/newsletter, you can sign up for our newsletter. And we've been taking your feedback on what tutorial videos we should create, what episodes we should do, what guests we should bring on, all of that amazing stuff. So definitely sign up for our newsletter so that you can get more pro tips and more content, but also just let us know what we could do better or differently. We'd love to have you as part of our newsletter crew. But thanks for hanging out with us this week. Now, Doc's going to handle all of our final credits.
Yes. If you need to find anything about us, any way, shape, or form, get in contact. Send us an email. Send us a recorded message. Even do reviews. You can find all of that at flow.ecamm.com. That's flow.eca2ms.com, 1M. And that will get you connected to wherever your podcast getting is got. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Shure, because we love Shure and they love us. And if you really want to do like we say in the MC world, make your mic sound nice, check one, go and check out Shure.com. Thanks to Shure for sponsoring The Flow.
I love it. I love your radio voice. It just makes it so fun.
I'll work on my VHS voice then.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, all right, well, I now need Michael and Doc to record me all movie trailer style episodes that would be hilarious. Awesome. Well, from all of us here at The Flow, we will see you next time, and Doc will lead us out.
Flow Riders, out.
Out. Bye, everyone.